The following program has been rated PG-13.
Shalom Israel, giving honor and praise to the Most High God for the reading and the understanding of His Word. And family, of course, y'all already know, I always wait for this time of the week to say this to the royal family. I want to wish every king, every queen, every prince, and every princess, I want to wish you a wonderful, magnificent Sabbath. And family, thank you once again for bringing this in with your brother. And family, before we begin tonight, I truly want to thank every last person from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for reaching out to King Tony and giving your condolences and contributing to his family financially to help them pay for the family's funeral expenses because they recently just lost their father. And once again, family, I thank you so much. And King Tony and his beautiful family, I just want to let y'all know, y'all are still in my prayers, and I'm sure you're still within the prayers of Israel as well. And I just want to really say this. This was monumental to me because it really was. Because it came and it showed just how much we are truly a family, okay? Not just a camp, a family. And I truly, truly thank every last one of you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you. I'm very grateful for every last person that really opened their hearts and opened their wallets to this family. And trust me, it was more of a blessing to really see the way that Israel can come together when we really need each other, letting us know that we don't need anybody else. We are all we need. And once again, Israel, thank you so much. Now, let me get on this here right now. First of all, let me go ahead and give the warning, I guess. That's the right word to use, warning, okay? Tonight is going to be very raw. And I'm going to completely be myself, especially on this particular topic right here, okay? Because tonight we are going to be talking about taming your tongue, okay? Now, for many of you that don't know what that means, it means when and when not to speak, okay? When to shut your mouth. Now, just those three words right there, that shut your mouth. So many of you right now just went ahead and you got that burn right there in the back of your ear, because y'all don't like people telling you to be quiet or to shut up or what to do when it comes to your mouth. And this is brother and sister. I'm grown. I'll say whatever I want to. And we know so many of us have that attitude on us. Now, in regards to taming your tongue, right? I'm going to be the very first person to tell you. I used to be very guilty of this, okay? If you could not tell. And especially when I was young, especially as a kid too. I was that kid in the class that would not let the teacher get the last word. I was full of jokes and they was not going to have a one-up on me. I was that particular kid, So this lesson here, I'm going to be very passionate about because it's the one that I truly, truly had to conquer. All right. But I conquered it. Okay. And don't be sitting there trying to tell me my business. Okay. You leave me alone. Don't bother me. But I am going to be bringing out some scriptures here. And also tonight, we're going to be looking at some videos tonight too. Just for some examples. And I'm telling you right now, I already know so many of y'all are probably going to be accusing me of doing things, but I'm not doing things on purpose. I can only show you the examples. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So, of course, please, family, I want you to open your Bibles to the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha. And I want you to please go to Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 23. Okay, so we're going to start it off, all right, with this one right here. Now, everybody knows what a tongue is, all right? It's that pink thing that's in your mouth, all right? Proverbs chapter 21, verse 23. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. That's very self-explanatory. But what is the Bible truly saying here? What is the Most High saying? In other words, those who can watch his or her mouth and keep it shut can keep themselves out of trouble. So I have to ask you a question. I gotta ask. Just gotta ask. How many of you are able to do that? How many of you are able to just keep it zipped when you are in a confrontation with someone, or if someone is actually trying to, what's the word I want to use? Engage you in an argument. How many of you have that willpower to be like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and walk away. Now, for many of you, if you sit there and say, oh yeah, I got it, I got this, I cannot call you a liar, but I guarantee you that a lot of it is not true. I can almost tell you, so many of you right now, y'all cannot keep your own in a comment section, okay? And that's talking using your fingers. So I can already imagine how it might be. And this, again, this is not male or female. This is both, okay? So now let's go to the next one here. Now let's go down to Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 29. Watch this. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Now, that right there said a lot. I want to read that one more time. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. No corrupt communication. So, of course, there may be many people that do not understand what the term corrupt means. So, of course, you already know me. I am going to get the definition of corrupt, because there's going to be absolutely nothing left out when it comes to this. You have to know what corrupt means. And here it is. The definition of corrupt: having or showing a willingness to act dishonestly in return for money or personal gain. All right. Now that's one. Now here is the biblical definition. Watch this. Morally degenerate and perverted, depraved, characterized by improper conduct, such as bribery or the selling of favors, corrupt judges, putrid, tainted, adulterated, or debased by change from an original or correct condition, a corrupt version of the text. Ooh, wait a minute now. That went over a plethora of different things from a worldly perspective and also from the proper biblical perspective as well. So you have now the definition of corrupt. In other words, watch your mouth. Don't be saying things. First of all, don't lie, okay? Don't be talking trash, all right? I'm going to try to keep it clean here. I'm going to keep it clean. All right, but don't be talking trash, okay? No lying, no bribery, no manipulating of the words, none of that stuff. So let's go back to that scripture. Ephesians 4:29. Read it one more time, because this is important. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. That is a commandment. But that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. So only good things are supposed to be coming out of your mouth. Only the good stuff. Nothing bad. And even if you are edifying someone, of course, you can be passionate, but guess what? The corrupt communication does not need to come out of your mouth. Nothing dishonest. If there are scriptures that you come against that you are not familiar with, then guess what? At that point, it is the best thing to tell that person, you know what? With this, I don't know the answer, but I will seek it. And I'm going to tell you right now, with our people have such a big problem with these 3 words. I don't know. I'm telling you, there are so many of our people that are so afraid to utter those words, to say, I don't know. Because as y'all already know, there's a lot of our people that just have to have an answer for everything because they got to sound so conscious. They have to sound so smart. I mean, isn't that a term that we use? You know, oh, that's a conscious brother. That's a conscious sister, right? Yeah. And it is completely unnecessary when I don't know can suffice. Because I don't know everything. And if there's something I don't know, even to come to these scriptures, if there's something I don't know, I'm going to be like, okay, you know what? I don't know the answer to that. So what I'm going to do is, for one, search it. And it's that easy. Okay? Next, I want you to please go to Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1. Now, this right here, I know so many of us struggle with. Watch this. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. A soft answer. Yeah, you're guilty. You're guilty already. You're guilty. A soft answer. So let's give a scenario on this here. What's a soft answer? Now, do you know, say for instance, you know, your husband, your wife, you are in the midst of a engaging disagreement. You know, one person's in one room, the other one's in the next one. And somebody comes into the room just to ask a simple question. And you lash out at that person with anger and with hostility. You've been warned. A soft answer, one more time, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. So we're going to get the definition of grievous. Right after I take that drink. So let's go. I'm going to pull up the definition of grievous. I'm telling you because there's so many of our people. Watch this. Of something bad, very severe, or serious. So let's look at some of these similar words. Serious, severe, grave, bad, critical, dreadful, terrible, awful, painful, agonizing, hurtful, afflicting, wounding, damaging, injurious, sharp, acute, disastrous, calamitous, crushing, distressing, traumatic, harrowing, sorrowful, mournful, sad, heinous, I love that word, heinous, deplorable, shocking, and appalling. And I did that on purpose, just to make sure we went through every last one of those right there so that nobody could sit there and say you had no idea what grievous means. That's exactly what it means right there. All of those things. So when you come to somebody with a grievous answer, I mean, just in general, I mean, just there could be some of you out there that are not even arguing with anybody, but just have a nasty, stinking attitude for no reason. I mean, just wake up. Just wake up with ugly on your face. Seriously. And I mean figurative ugly. Okay, I'm not calling anybody ugly. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as far as an attitude, all right? Don't get in my face, okay? Next, I want you to please go to James chapter 3. Okay. Now, of course, we know James chapter 3. This here with James talks about the tongue like no other. Like no other. James made warning after warning after warning when it comes to us in Israel and our mouth. So what we're going to do, we're going to read down from chapter 3, verse 2. All right, I'm going to start there. We're going to read down to verse 10. All right, here it is. For in many things we offend all. That's already starting off. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man and able also to bridle the whole body. Did y'all truly understand what that meant? Did you get it? I'm going to read this one more time. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man. Meaning, if you choose not to be offensive towards your brother or sister, perfect man. How? Watching your tongue. But watch, there's more. And able also to bridle the whole body. He's letting you know that your tongue, that mouth of yours, right here, that tongue of yours, when you get that in control, you control your whole body. Okay? Verse 3. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. So it's letting you know right here, is giving you a comparison between us and a horse and its bits. Because as you know, for those of you that ride horses, or even those of you that don't ride horses, when you put a bit in a horse's mouth, it controls, which way that the horse goes, up, down, left, right, whatever it is, right? It's the very same thing with us. Our tongue, our mouth, the things that we say controls what the rest of our body does. There is a physical connection between the two. And it is. Because many of you have been in a situation where, your tongue, you start saying things and, the more and more you could be looking at a person and saying something, and you don't even have to be looking. They don't even have to be there. They could be on the phone. And you're just saying these things over and over and over. And then you physically feel yourself getting hulked up. You feel it. And this is what this is talking about. Okay? Verse 4. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, meaning they be so big, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth. Do you understand that? They saying even as big as a ship is. Even, I want for those of you that have been on a cruise before, right? Think about how huge a cruise is. Okay? How big a freaking cruise is. Do you know, even on a cruise, that little operating table right there controls that whole thing? And these cruises are bigger than some buildings. Just that one little thing, and that's talking about your tongue. That one little member right there inside your mouth is causing all this trouble. All right, verse 5. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. Let you know that little muscle there in your mouth can bring so much damage. We'll get into that later. Verse 6. And the tongue is a fire. Because we all know fire is an element that has absolutely no prejudice whatsoever. A world of iniquity. Notice, a world of iniquity. Iniquity is sin. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. Now, let's talk about that for a second. How that little member in your mouth, that little member, do you see what it is described as? Hell. Meaning, for some of you abusive women and men, abusive spouses, abusive parents, abusive children, abusive brothers and sisters, abusive so-called friends. Because you don't know how to watch your mouth. Because you ground. You can say whatever you want to, nigga, I'm ground. You heard the Most High just said? It's iniquity. It's sin for you to do that. Sin, sin, sin. Oh, God will work on me. No, he's not. If you can't control yourself, the Most High is not dealing with you. That's the part that I had to learn. I had to get that. I'm serious. I'm dead serious when I tell you that. That part I had to learn and understand. That Because, Christianity tells you that, oh yeah, go ahead and blow up or at the person or whatever. Go ahead and blow up or whatnot. Hey, just ask white Jesus to forgive you and bing, okay, everything's all good. Nope. Let's continue reading. Watch this. Verse 7, for every kind of beast, listen to this insult. For every kind of beast and of birds and of serpents and of things in the sea is tamed and hath been tamed of mankind. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceed the blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. That's simple. Now you see what it said right there? He said, even with the birds, even with the other animals, they have tongues too. And at times, we are lower than them, even though they were made for us. And we beneath them, we beneath the animals, because we can't tame our tongue. And as you see right here in verse 10, out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brethren, he's you Israelites, these things ought not so to be. In other words, you can't do both, all right? You can't be a Christian. You can't sit there and claim, oh, I love Jesus, walking out the church house with your stupid monkey suit on and your ugly hat, and you sitting there, oh, I love Jesus, hush, and doing all that or whatever, and then the next thing you know, you go into the restaurant to go eat damn red lobster. Yeah, liar. Absolute liar. Or and I hate to do it, but no, I don't. As a matter of fact, I don't hate it. I love it. Here you have the so-called Christian woman who just leaves church or whatnot and in the car is railing on her husband. Or vice versa with the man, sitting up there as an usher, and the next thing you know, he's sitting there berating his wife. Can't do it, man. Can't do it. It's phony. You're a liar. You're a fraud. And the Most High is going to deal with you if you continue to do this. Okay? Now, I want you to go to Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 18. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 18. Watch this. There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. Do you see the comparison right there? The wise. The tongue of the wise, meaning that person who is not a fool, knows how to control his mouth. He knows. So I know we talk about this here. I'm saying so many things, but when I say control your tongue, what does it mean? So for instance, you have someone that's engaging you and purposely doing this. They're engaging you in an argument, right? And you sit there and you're just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there and call yourself listening. But all you know is that inside, that anger is just boiling and percolating all over. And you know you are about to pop. You're about to pop. Now, a wise person is going to leave that particular area. You have to remove yourself from a situation like that. Or else, guess what? You're going to say something, and you're going to say something foul, which you never should, which you never ever should. Why? Because we're commanded not to. That's right. We are commanded. Don't let any corrupt communication come out of your mouth. So know here going forward that every time that you do that, you've sinned. And I want to make this very clear, very, very clear to our brothers and sisters. I want you to understand this. When people engage you like that, right? And again, I had to learn this. I had to learn it. When people engage you, when they sit in there and they want to cause strife, they're looking for a challenge. And in that person's mind, they're looking to win. Now, me having the ego that I do, and I'm not going to lie to you, I have a bit of an ego. With my ego, I have learned I cannot let that person win. I cannot. You're not going to win against me. So what do? I walk away from it and I keep my mouth shut. Because if I gave in at any time, even though knowing the fiber, the all the way down to my molecular structure, I am a person that has always been designed on having the last word. Like, I'm going to eat your ass alive. But I was an idiot. I was a fool. I was stupid as hell. Because me being dumb, not being wise, me being a fool, I let that person win. And all people want out of you is a reaction. That's all they want. They want to see you react. But me learning to control my ego says I will never give you a reaction, because if I give you a reaction, then you've won. And I am a natural born winner. You're not going to win over me. Not going to. So hopefully that what I just said right there, first with these scriptures, you really, really take that to heart. Okay? Because I know it touched somebody out there. People that are just like me. Okay? Next, I want you to go to Psalms chapter 141. Psalms chapter 141. Go down to verse 3. Okay. Watch this. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the doors of my lips. Now, that's a prayer. Right there. You see this? Asking the Most High, please, just watch my mouth for me. Don't let me say anything corrupt. Don't let me say anything that's going to get me in trouble with you. Now, do you see, seriously, how our forefathers were with this? Like, listen, I need you. Father, I need you to please help me keep my mouth shut before I do something or say something to this person. Now, many of you, I know you've been there. Let me ask you a question. How many of you, right? And this is not even anybody in your family, just you going to work, have that one colleague who, when I tell you, irritates you to the point where, you feel like that feeling in your stomach where when you get around them and as soon as you pulling up to the job, you get out the car and you just look up and you say, if this nigga say something to me today, that person, that one right there. How many of you have actually had to endure a person like that? And do you know what that's all about? Remember, the Most High said he will never tempt us, but we will be tested. There are many times that you were tested by the Most High and failed. There are many times that I have. Lord knows I'm telling the truth. I'm telling you, but some people take the word ego as a bad thing, and it truly isn't. All right? Because every last one of us have them. Babies have egos. They do. But it's all about how you use your ego. How do you use it? How do you use it? You keep your mouth shut. That's how you use your ego. Do you know that when you use your ego for the benefit, you develop patience? And that's what a lot of our people do not have. We don't have any patience, and we don't. Okay? Now, let's stay in the book of Psalms, but go back to verse 34, please. Psalms chapter 34 and verse 13. Okay. Now, here's one of my favorites. Watch this. Keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile. Now, we all know that guile is not an everyday word. So, of course, y'all already know the king of definitions here. We're going to get the definition of guile. Watch this. Sly or cunning intelligence. Sly or cunning intelligence. So now we got to go a little bit deeper. Sly definition. What does sly mean? Sly. Watch this. Having or showing a cunning or deceitful nature. Of a remark, glance, or facial expression showing in an insinuating way that one has some secret knowledge that may be harmful or embarrassing. Oh, so what happens when we really start to get down there? When we start to cut through the grass to get to the dirt? Sly, you know what this is talking about? Woo, you know what this is talking about? Guilty man and woman gossip. That damn gossip. Always got something to talking about somebody else. That's right, I said talking about. Gotta have somebody else's name or business in your mouth. Nope, not even that. That ain't it. Oh, that's not it. Now, go down to, let's go to James. Let's go to the book of James. James chapter 1 and verse 26. Because, oh yeah, this is lined up on purpose for a reason. James chapter 1 verse 26. Watch this. If any man among you seem to be religious and bridle not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. Woo! Yes, Lord. Yes, yes, yes. You see that? Oh, and that includes, now, of course, being an Israelite is not a religion, and they're not speaking religious as in religions here, but talking about, first of all, for you being an Israelite, and you, read it again. If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. So, in other words, if you claim, all right, to be this Israelite, and you are practicing and following all the Lord's statutes and commandments, but you can't keep that under control, your work is vain. Male and female, sister and brother. Can't do it. You're false. You are false. 100% hands down, false. So you cannot be out there claiming to be an Israelite, claiming to be a daughter of Sarah, claiming to be a son of David, and you out there running your mouth and popping off in every way. I don't mean in the way of defense or anything. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you. You know what I'm talking about. You're not stupid. You can't be doing that. You cannot be doing that at all in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You cannot do it. As an Israelite, you have a code of conduct, the way that you have to present yourself. You are presenting yourself as a son or daughter of the Most High God of Israel. Okay? Now, I'm going to stand up with it. See this? Right there, that. It's more than that. It's more than fringes. It's about your attitude. There are many brothers and sisters out there that have on their armbands, got on their fringes, everything. But they have number one, no self-respect for themselves, no respect for their brothers or sisters because of this, because of their mouth. It's true. It's very, very true. And I know many of you right now, like I said, they're like, yo, this nigga tripping or whatever. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you what's real. And I know that this burns so many of our people. I know, I get it. I used to be one of them. But at some point, we must all look at ourselves. We have to look into that proverbial mirror. We have to look at ourselves in the mirror and be like, you know what? I must change. I have to change. Because if I don't change, I am going to die. And that's the bottom line to it. The Most High only wants people that have self-control. You must understand that. Why does he want soldiers of self-control? Because you know how to take orders. You know how to listen. You know how to be obedient. With you running your mouth, going crazy, guess what you cannot do? You cannot be led. You can't be led. Because you are a distraction. Did I say that right? You are a distraction. You are a hindrance to the progress because you don't have any self-control. Okay? So now let's go to Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 28. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 28. Watch this. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Even a fool knows when to shut their mouth. So if a fool knows to shut their mouth, what does that make you if you can't? It makes you below a fool. How insulting is that, Israel? Straight up, serious. How insulting is that really? For to be like, you are worse than a fool. I don't ever want anyone to say that to me. Seriously. Okay? Now, let's go to 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips that they speak no guile. There's that word again. No deceit. You can't speak evil over anybody. I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna do this. Do you know what's a really bad one? Especially for a lot of you sisters. You look just like your daddy. And knowing that you're not with the father, you look just like your daddy. Let me tell you something right now. That is one of the worst feelings that anybody can encounter. Your son can encounter. Because you're making that son feel as if he was responsible for the two of your breakup. That's horrible. That's horrible. And not only there, but a lot of sisters with their daughters and the things that you say to your daughters. There are so many, and I'm not just banging on the sisters right now. I'm going to talk to the brothers here in a second. All right. So don't try to switch anywhere. Just hold your peace as you're learning. Now, there are so many of our sisters that speak to our princesses so horribly. I mean, you can almost imagine why a lot of our princesses grow up to be the way that they are. Low self-esteem, promiscuous, running off at the mouth, because that's what they used to them seeing their mothers do. The way that you treat her is the way that she's going to treat her daughter. Or her husband, for that matter. Brothers, a lot of us, very guilty of the way that we speak to our wives. And your children see that. So not only are you affecting the daughter, but you're also affecting your son. Because your son is going to see that and think that's how he is supposed to talk to his wife. Or his daughter, for that matter. These generational curses here. These generational, give me a good word here. These generational inappropriations. There it is. That's what I was looking for. That just continuously destroy our people. And kings, there's no excuses. It's time to stand up for this type of thing here. We're the examples. We are. We are the examples, and we have to show the kingdom how we are to treat our children and especially our spouses. Why? Look at the way Esau treat them. Do you know how much of an insult it really is for one of our sisters, or brothers for that matter, to to glorify the way they are treated by Esau? It's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. And quite frankly, it needs to change. And kings, we are the ones responsible for making a change, okay? All right, just like Michael Jackson said. All right, now let's go down to Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. This one here, I truly want you to understand. I want you to memorize this. I want every last person under the sound of my voice to take this verse and memorize it and keep it on your heart forever. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Why is that one? Oh, goodness gracious. Why is this in the Bible? Death and life are in the power of the tongue. So either you can give a person life with your tongue by the words that you speak, meaning that you come with these scriptures. Tell them about life. Tell them who they are. Teach them that they are kings, queens, princes, and princesses. Teach them that we have a loving Father in heaven that only chose Israel and that we are the greatest people on earth. Or you can defile a person horribly, talking down bad to them, even when they are talking bad to you. Because even though, guess what, the two of you arguing, it is still corrupt communication and it is a sin. And remember what sin is. Sin causes death. The reward for sin is death. So it's telling you right here. It's letting you know exactly what it is. There's no getting around it. None whatsoever. None. You can't get around this. You can't get around this. You have to watch your mouth. You have to watch the things that you say. You have to have a responsibility over yourself. And that very same responsibility is going to filter down to everybody else. Can you imagine how great our nation would be if we were all nice to each other? I know it sounds so cliche. I know it does. But guess what? That is going to be a reality one day. It is. And do you know how you practice that? Right now, everything that we do now is practice. Everything that we do now is practice for the kingdom. If you can't get it now, you're not going to get the kingdom. And that's just the bottom line. I don't care if you get mad at me about it or what. It's the truth. Okay? Now, I want you to please go to Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 4. Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 4. Watch this. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. A breach in the spirit. What is a breach? As you already know, let's get the definition of breach, because we must know these things. The definition of breach: an act of breaking or failing to observe a law, agreement, or code of conduct. Whoa, what does that mean? It means you broke the commandments. That's what it means. You broke it. It all revolves around the law, Israel. It all revolves around the law. You can't get around that. Okay? Can't get around it. Next, let's continue here. I want you to go to James chapter 3 and verse 10. James chapter 3 and verse 10. Watch this. Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessings and cursing. Remember, we talked about this earlier. Remember, I told you I wanted to come back to this. Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Now, I wanted to go ahead and sit that one out by itself purposely, because at this time, it's video time, Israel. And what we're going to do, we are going to watch a succession of videos, and then we're going to talk about it in just a little bit. All right? So, without any further ado, let's go ahead. Let's watch these videos. Here we go.
The fuck now, because I'm tired of your ghetto ass and his gay ass talking to me like I'm dumb. Bitch, I didn't order fries. I ordered ice cream, dumbass. How am I waiting on fries to get done and I didn't order them? That's what I'm talking about. So you try to talk to me like I was stupid. Bitch, I know what I ordered. How about that? You want to read it? Dumbass. Read the screen. They tell you to read the screen. There ain't no fucking fries up there with no goddamn 20-piece fucking nuts. Easy. Now easy.
I'm just
Since you trying to talk to me like I was dumb, answer me that with your dumb ass. Don't be quiet now, because I got a dick in my purse. I can stick in your ass, bitch. Look. Hand, do you want it? Because I'll give it to you. Just like that, motherfucker. Watch who the fuck you think you talking to in this bitch. I'm not one of these simple-minded ass bitches that thought you was cute. Bitch, give me my money. I paid with a fucking card. Now hurry up so I can swipe my shit and get up out this ghetto, motherfucker. How about that? Motherfuckers. No, it say debit or credit, motherfucker. Which one you want me to put?
Whichever one you want the money to go back to.
I want it back on my card. You didn't ask. You didn't give me this choice when you see my card. So what the fuck did it say? Here, read the receipt, bitch, and tell me. You the manager. I want my money. I'm finna get the phone and shit in this bitch, and it's gonna start with this in your ass. Motherfucker, I want my money. What the fuck do you want me to do? Hello?
2 weeks. I've been waiting for like 2 weeks.
What's wrong with you? Got my motherfucking daughter out here, bitch. Come on. Stupid ass over $3 motherfucking dollars. Now break this bitch. Fuck wrong with you? Don't talk all that shit you trying to. Bitch, you made $10. Bitch. Fuck wrong with you? Who? I'll tear this bitch up. You lucky I got my motherfucking daughter with me. I will break all this shit. I'm I don't give a fuck. Bitch, $3 a night. $3 a night, bitch. Fuck wrong with you? Who? Gonna be acting a fool in front of my motherfucking daughter, you dumbass bitch. I'll see you when you get off work, bitch. $3 motherfucking dollars and 12 cents. $3. Fuck wrong with you on call for my ass, bitch. $3. Bitch, don't get your ass whooped. Don't get your ass whooped. I left my daughter in the car, bitch. I'm not bringing your motherfucking daughter, bitch. Fuck wrong with you over $3 motherfucker. You want your ass whooped too, bitch. Oh, exactly. Exactly, bitch. Don't tell me I can't, bitch. That's the fuck you not gonna do. Give your baby up, bitch. You're not gonna die today, bitch. Exactly, bitch. You had that baby over $3 for 12 cents, bitch. $3. And your white ass going down. I know her exactly where you can. I know exactly where you can. I find it. I take you to the house. That's why you're not my friend. Bitch, you almost hit my child. I will fuck you up. $3. So y'all grab you. You gotta watch what the fuck you doing shit at. Shit, ain't nobody. Get down. No, get down. The police. Don't trip. The police is supposed to come. No, she didn't need to fire that bitch. How she gonna throw something? She can't throw nothing. Son of a fucking fucking throw that ass. Bitch, you got shit fucked up. Get fired. Fire that bitch. Calm down, ladies. Calm down. Fire that bitch. Calm down. Fire that bitch. Calm down. Fire that bitch. Why am I blaming all on that bitch back here? Got me fucked up, my nigga.
You should hear that shit all the fucking time. Fuck that. Nigga, I don't work at McDonald's. I make more money than you. Don't do that. You got a career?
Yes, I do.
All right, what's your degree? You got a master's degree? I'm 21 years old with a bachelor's degree. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. I'm 21 years old with a bachelor's degree.
Nobody.
Bitch. Fuck out of here. I got more money than you. I got more money than you.
You have no proof.
Fuck out of here. And you still riding the train just like I am. So you ain't no better than I am. Fuck out of here and fuck you, nigga. Fuck out of here, nigga.
I'm a nigga. There you go. Slavery. That's slavery.
We both niggas. We both
No, I'm not a nigga. You're a nigga.
Yes, we are niggas.
I've never been a nigga.
So what are you, Caucasian?
I am never. A
What are
nigga
you
is
then,
a
nigga?
base individual.
No, a nigga is what he is.
I'm not a nigga. That's what
Fuck
you
all
are.
that, nigga.
That's
You
what you
already
are.
know who he is, nigga.
You're a nigga.
We are fucking
The only
niggas.
reason I'm not punching you
We
in
are
your mouth
fucking niggas.
is you're a girl.
I don't
The
care,
only reason
nigga.
I'm not running
I'ma
up in
sit
your
down
mouth.
comfortably.
But I'm gonna go get my wife and she'll run up in
Go get who you want. You want to add me on the fucking book so you can find me again?
No.
I don't give a
You're
fuck, nigga.
base. You're base. You're still doing it in front of my child. How much do you care about your people if that's how you act?
Nigga, I was
You still
respectful
call
at
me a
first,
nigga. No,
and then
you
you try to start
weren't. No,
drinking.
you weren't. No,
Then
you
you started
weren't.
drinking.
Showtime TV.
Then you started
It's
drinking.
necessary.
That's why I got disrespectful.
No.
After you started
No,
drinking.
you got this
Think straight.
I was
Powered by Think Straight, bald head ass.
Because I respect children. I respect children.
You don't respect
Nigga, I
children.
have
You respect children.
I have been. I have been.
Why are you still cursing?
I was talking.
But if you respect children, then why you still not talking?
Because you started getting trained. Because you started getting trained. I don't care who. Like I said, I'm 21 and I make enough money an hour. Like I make $16 an hour. Okay, I make $16 an hour at 20 years old. Like he's still going. Like it's not that serious.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
That's a child.
Okay, and
Exactly.
that's what get on the train. Get on the train.
Exactly. Don't tell me that.
Okay. All right. So, as you can clearly see right there, I already know so many of you already know. Why was it only women? Why was it only women? Why are you only showing the sisters? Why? Those are the only ones that I could find. I was looking for some with the brothers, and the only one that we got there was the last one with the brother that was on the train. Now, I looked, and unfortunately, sisters, unfortunately, many of you are guilty of this. And I'm not saying only you, but many of you. And I'm going to tell you right now, and this is where y'all going to start getting mad at me, but guess what? You're just going to have to get mad. Many of the brothers here in Israel, Black, Hispanic, and Native American men, those women right there are women that they live with. Those are a lot of them. Some of their wives, girlfriends, whatever you want to call it. The Most High does not recognize boyfriend and girlfriend, though, but many of your spouses are like that. Many of your girlfriends are like that. And unfortunately, many of you brothers are like that. But remember earlier how we were talking about how the tongue is able to affect the physical? Did you see all that violence and all that stuff right there? You saw that, right? Now, I was getting a little worried about the brother on the train. I was like, brother, like, no, don't, brother. And I'm so glad that he didn't. But as you can see, that little dreadhead she was getting to him. She was getting to him. Because even he said, if you wasn't a woman, I was going to punch you in your mouth. Now, right there, she stirred something in him. And not only that, but also his daughter was right there. His daughter was right there. So, how could he have handled that better? By ignoring her? He could have and not said anything at all. Because now, guess what? That young princess right there heard her father say that it was, a possibility if Dreadhead there was a guy they would have punched in the mouth. That's still violence. That should not be amongst our people. Should not be. Shouldn't at all. But that was ridiculous. But seriously though, now the other one where the sister was, had her daughter right there with her. Now, mind you, we don't know what started these circumstances in all fairness, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Because this is the difference between a person walking away and holding their tongue versus those outbursts and outcries like you saw. That is just wrong on every level. Wrong. And a lot of people sit there and look at that as entertainment. That is wrong. It's wrong. We can't do that. Because when we do that, guess what? We are using that as an example for our children and other people to see. They don't even have to be our children. They don't. Because many of you don't know who you are a role model to. Somebody is always watching you. Even if you don't believe it, even if you've never seen it, somebody is watching you. You have an admirer. Somebody watching your every move. I'm telling you, you just don't know who's watching you. You don't know who's looking at you. You don't know who's looking up to you. You don't know. That is why every last action that you have must be a responsible one. And to pick up merchandise inside of McDonald's or any restaurant for that matter and start slamming it down and yelling and screaming and cursing and doing all that stuff, now these people are catching charges. That's ridiculous. All because you didn't bridle your tongue. You didn't watch your mouth. But so many egos just get out of control. Seriously. Now, all that yelling and screaming and cursing and all that stuff, right now, I'm telling you how this filters down. So I got one more video for you. I got one more. And I'm going to show you this. And I'm going to show you how, in response to all those things, it produces a child like this.
Good afternoon, parents. Good afternoon, boys and girls.
Shut the fuck
Hey,
up!
hey! Not nice.
No, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You need to leave?
No, bitch!
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's out.
Israel, let me tell y'all something real quick. When I tell you my mother would have blackened every skin particle on my ass if I ever would have did anything like that. But I have a much bigger issue here, okay, with this. Now, why did it take the second outburst for the father to come up, or whoever, the father, brother, whoever it was, to come up and do something? Man, I'm telling you, but that is a byproduct of what we saw in them earlier videos. That's a byproduct of that. And that goes around all over Israel. I don't care if you get mad at me or not. You can call me insensitive. You can call me whatever you want to. That is a byproduct. And it is. And it's not funny. It's not funny. I know I'm giggling or whatever because I'm just thinking of the reaction that my moms would have put on me. But it's really not funny. It really isn't. And, dude, I've seen worse. I've really seen worse out of kids. I've seen worse. But I use that there as an example to show that our children are a byproduct of everything that we do. And then they get out there in that world and think it's okay. They get out there in that world and think that, you know, it's okay to, you know, just completely defile one of our sisters or our brothers for that matter. And it's wrong. But it just goes to show you how much cleanup we really have to do in Israel. We have a lot of cleanup to do. Okay? Now, I want to go back to the scriptures. Okay. I want you to go to Matthew chapter 15 and verse 11. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 11. Watch this. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man. It's what comes out your mouth. The things that you say is what defiles you, separates you from the Most High. I'm telling you. Dude. So do you know what this is explaining right there? Because you know how we have dietary laws, right? So this is saying even even for those of us who break the law by eating pork and freaking lobster and all the things of the dietary law that we're not supposed to eat. What comes out of our mouth is worse than that, even though those things will give us cancer and all of the different bacterias and things like that. The harmful things that we say, the deceitful things that we say, defile us worse than that. Now, that's a hint and a half for your ass. I'm telling you right now. Now, let's go to Titus chapter 3 and verse 2. Listen to this commandment. To speak evil of no man, to be no brawlers, but gentle, showing all meekness unto all men. All men. Yes, that includes Esau. Why? Because you are the light of the world and vengeance belongs to the Most High. We can't do nothing to them that the Most High is going to do. And you have to live by example. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth, Israel. You are the salt of the earth. When you walk out into that world in your fringes, in your head wraps and however you want to be, you know, we walk out here in our armed guards and all that good stuff, and we walk out there and we are separate from everybody else in this world. Guess what? They're watching your every move. They're listening to your every word to see what you're going to do. 100%. That's why it is so important what you do. So important. Okay? Let's go now to Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 19. And I know this is a lot of scripture, but you need it. A car don't move without gasoline. And this is the gas for that ass. Okay? Proverbs chapter 10, verse 19. In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. And letting you know again, for those of you that's able to keep your mouth shut, you are considered wise in the eyes of the Most High. You understand that? Shut your mouth. And I know that burned so many people. Just for, for me to even sit up here and say that. Shut your mouth, brother. Shut your mouth, sis. Yes, be quiet. Don't say anything. There can never be an argument with one person. Do you understand that? Now, let's go ahead. We're going to wrap this up here. Let's go to Psalms chapter 52 and verse 2. Psalms chapter 52 and verse 2. And I wanted to save this one here for last. Thy tongue deviseth mischief, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. And I wanted to go out with that one there because let's read it again. Thy tongue deviseth mischief. Your tongue is what brings mischief and cause and turmoil. Like a sharp razor, like a razor will cut any damn thing. Working deceitfully, meaning you intended for that to happen. You intended for it. Can't do that, Israel. We have to be bigger than everybody else. Because now, just speaking with Esau, and I know I pick on Esau, it's all the nation, but I pick on Esau here, right? How many of you already know, and many of you know this, that either work around Esau or you're just around them in general? Their one tactic, their one device that they do is to get you to lose your cool. And they do it by their little slick, sly, cunning words. They'll either throw out a racial epithet at you. They'll call you a nigger, call you a coon, jigaboo, whatever it is, whatever term that they use, porch monkey, whatever. Why do they do that? They do that to get a reaction out of you. And that's what they do. Now, why do we do it? Why do we do it to each other? Because we learned from Esau. Because we learned from them. We learned their psychology. Now, for those of you who remember the Willie Lynch lessons that we went over, remember, that was all psychological. All of it. Damn, that's spit on my face. Excuse you. But that was all psychological. And that's exactly what we do to each other. We psychologically damage each other. Hands down, we do. And it truly is a crying shame that we're that way with each other because we learned from them. They destroyed us just like the scriptures said they would. Destroyed us. And now we have to take our nation back. And how does that start? Right here with the mouth. Kind words. Respectful words. Do you understand the impact you could have on a young person's life when you look at them and tell them that there is nothing in this world that can stop them? If you were to look at our youth and let them know you are a prince and a princess right now, but you are going to grow to be a king and a queen. To look down at our young sisters and let them know, listen, you are not a hoe. You are a princess. You are a queen. And you don't got to be bouncing around from dude to dude. You don't got to give none of these little dudes not a damn thing. But the one thing that they always better give you is respect. To look at you and say, you know what? Yes, you are a queen of Israel. For our sisters to look at our young brothers and be like, you know what? You are going to be an incredible, incredible husband. Do you understand if, for a lot of you mothers and fathers out there, if you would train, if you would coach and teach our young youth, you know what? You are going to grow up to be a wonderful mother. You are going to grow up to be a wonderful father. Before talking about their careers, the foundation, because there's so many people that focus on a career and won't focus on what they were designed to be, a wonderful, great, obedient husband and wife, a terrific mother and father to their children. But everything's all about the career. Oh, you're going to be in the NFL. Oh, you're going to make me money and all this stuff or whatever. You're teaching them the wrong things. You're teaching them to be worldly when you should be coming out of these scriptures and teaching them exactly what they're supposed to be. Kings and queens. But we got the world on our mind. And guess what? That is corrupt communication. Sinful. You are supposed to be teaching them that they are only to obey the Most High God of Israel and keep his commandments. That's supposed to be coming out of your mouth. That's what you're supposed to be teaching. Let me ask y'all a question. How long has it been since you sat your children down and brought these scriptures out to them to show them who they are? Not you watching this. You picking up the book yourself and looking down at your children and teaching them out of the scriptures. That's not corrupt communication right there. That's what you should be doing. But so many people will sit around, and watch that damn worldly television, that damn television. You'll sit down, that idiot box, and don't teach them a damn thing. Let them learn all that, all the sex and everything that's on television. All of the, I can't even say it because they're going to shut the video down, so I'm not even going to bother. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all, you already know. Y'all already know. So, Israel, it's time for a change, all right? Watch your mouth, okay? Love each other. Do this practice here. I challenge every last one of you to say one thing that's uplifting and encouraging to somebody that you have absolutely no interest or desire in. Yeah. Meaning somebody that you're not attracted to. Just go and say something very nice to somebody that would never ever expect it. And they have to be Israel. I challenge you to do that. And right there, you should be doing that every day, as a matter of fact. Every day. Encourage our people. Lifting each other up. That's what we should be doing. Let that great communication come out of our mouth. And do you know what's a really, really good practice for you to do? To open up these scriptures and teach an Israelite that don't know they're Israel, that they're kings, queens, princes, and princesses. All right? So Israel, I'm so glad that we were able to go ahead with this lesson. And this is a very important one too. Very, very important. And some of you need to come back and listen to it again. Sure do. But I'm so glad that we was able to get through this here. And again, I do this here for the love of our people, because we have to prosper. We have to win, which we are going to in the end. All right. But all the practice is now. We got to get this practice in. And once again, I want to thank every last one of you one more time for contributing to King Tony and his family. I thank you all so much. And King Tony, brother, you are still in our prayers. Your family is still in our prayers. And if you guys need anything, you already know, just reach out. And for all of you, I want you to reach out to me. If you guys ever need anything, you can reach me at MikeMalissChannel@gmail.com. Or you can reach me on Instagram under my name, Mike Maliss, MICMALISS. All right? And Israel, I just want y'all to know, I love y'all, and y'all have a great Sabbath. And remember, encourage one another. All right? And with that being said, Israel, I love you. I'm out.